Hey guys, Tool back with a new video because the last one I recorded didn't have any audio and I sat through 50 minutes and wasted it of my life. So we're back with another What If Deku was Sub-Zero. This would be part 3, but guess not. So we're redoing part 2. Now, I don't want to redo part 2, but it's necessary because no audio, which really sucks. But what you gonna do? I gotta get a video at some time, and I'm not gonna just sit here and die as channel. So, let's get into the video, I guess. We left off with Deku telling Todoroki that the hunt will begin. Well, not telling Todoroki, upstairs. With him telling Todoroki that he will be staying in the cave protecting everybody. And then the hunt began. 6 predators remained because the rest were all got their kills and are now full-fledged warriors. Yaudra? Yeah, I believe it's Yaudra. So, yes, let's say that I don't remember exactly how many people are in the story, but let's say that there were 10 predators and that the 2 extras were killed, so now that just leaves 8. Okay. So, okay, I'm sorry, I just have songs stuck in my head. So, 8 predators remain, and now Deku's is beginning the hunt. Now, Deku used a large amount of his power to freeze over the entire mountain to make it unbearable for living creatures. But he left Todoroki there to stave off the cold, so they should be fine. Todoroki can also freeze the food to make it last longer. Okay, let's begin. We already did. Oh, sorry, my bad. So, Deku is now let's say after Deku freezes over the mountain in his cave, he walks far off into the jungle. And as he gets to the jungle, he sees a dot appear on his chest. Immediately, Deku places a thin layer of ice over his body that can be expanded whenever he needs it to be. As he hears something being fired, and the dot goes away, he exerts all his ice on the point, and it crashes into an energy bolt. And based on the trajectory, it flies directly back and destroys a predator's laser cannon. The predator being startled and this nearly blowing up its head, it swipes off the gear and runs. Now, this is Deku's first experience with the hunters, and he now knows that they have highly advanced weapons. Plasma guns. So, what he does is, he walks over to the gun, he walks over to the wreckage of what was left, and he picks it up. He examines it for a bit, and then leaves it there, saying that it's too dangerous to mess around with and he could blow himself up. But what he does do is, while he's there, he grabs a tree branch and a vine, and he makes a bow. He freezes it solid to make it sturdy enough to where it's usable. And then he puts it on his back. After that, he uses his ability. Now, let's say he uses his ingenuity to find a place to sleep for the night. So what he does is, he goes up to a tree, climbs to the tippy top, and he makes 2 kunais out of ice. He stabs him into the bark and he freezes his hands there. This is so he doesn't move while he sleeps. And then he lowers his temperature to the surroundings. And he waits. He sits there for a few hours when he feels the tree shake. He slowly looks down to see something moving, but he can't make out a clear image. It's almost like it's a chameleon, but a much larger one. So what he does is he stands up after unfreezing the kunais, and very carefully he drops both kunais directly down, passing through all the branches, not making contact with anything, just going through the air. And as they're about eye level with the predator or the Aldrich, he says, "Flash freeze." And a thin line between both kunais flies straight between the two and goes directly through its head. Now, this severed a lot of brain cells, making it to where it died on instant contact. 7 predators remain. Now, like the Hunger Games, they have cameras everywhere. So, the elder, or the clan leader, is watching the blooding, as we'll call it. Now, the blooding is a tournament or hunt that will determine the next generation of warriors, the blooded. The ones that are blooded will move on from humans to xenomorphs. There are 3 xenomorphs, none of them have been killed. Now, you're probably wondering, how the fuck did Deku do that? Well, he trained for his entire life to be the elite of the Shiraiyu. I swear, I just said that. I think I said the wrong one. Oh my god, that's Scorpion's clan. I can't remember. The Lin Kuei. He trained his entire life to be an elite member of the Lin Kuei. And he has the strongest ice-based ability there is. So, he surpasses Sub-Zero's quirk in body and mind. And the combination of that gives him unbalanced skill, but he's not yet mastered it. There's a lot more the quirk can do. So, after that, he uses his cryomancy ability to telekinetically, this is an ability of cryomancy, the manipulation of ice, he pulls the ice back up to him. So his 2 shurikens, on the way up, it pulls up the entire body. So he then examines the hunter, or the Aldrin. He examines and sees the reptilian, which is a plus for him because they're cold-blooded animals. He examines the mask, finds that it has sensory modes, which will be useful. So what he does is, using the laser cannon that he finds off his new kill, he shortens it into a beam-like structure, and he shields his eyes using ice. And he hardwires contact lenses out of the mask, and he also makes Sub-Zero's mask. After doing this, he freezes it over with blue ice, and then he puts the contacts in. This gives him heat and night vision. Thermal, at least. And the mask gives him the ability to breathe on foreign planets. But because he can breathe perfectly fine here, and it would be a hassle sooner or later, he puts the mask in his bag. And after that, he proceeds. Now, the clan elder is sitting with 5 warriors that each have a scar on their faces. This scar is not like a small scar. It goes. Oh, some of their heads are chipped, and even one's missing a horn mouth, a little tooth. Yeah, these are the clan leaders. He's the clan master. Now, this elder Yaujith is the strongest they have, minus the king. The king, also known as the chief, is the only one who can outclass an elder. So, he is not present. The one who supervises the blooding is my clan elders, but only one attended. And this is, yeah. So 7 Yardrith remain. One doesn't even have a blaster. But what it does do is he takes all the weapons off of the Yardrith. He then examines certain aspects of their weaponry, and it's not very easy to read, but because of the lenses he made, he can read their language. It was a bonus. So he kept a small case that it seemed like a transmitter. After that, what he did is he put his kunais back in the bark and waited. They must know their friend's dead. So if I wait long enough, another one will come. Yes, that's what he's thinking. So he sits there and plans. He sends out 2 ice clones, and yes, he can do this, but what happens is he has to separate both clones into one eye, so he can only see out of one eye for each clone. So he has the clones set traps around where he is. Yes, and now, once he has all the traps set, he recalls the clones. And yes, I did give Deku this ability. He is currently sensing, I believe it's a 1-mile radius around him. Now, though. Okay, thinking. Sorry I'm taking so long. Just thinking of the next plot for the story. Because I'm doing all this off the top of my head. I figured it's better than writing down a script after to read through all that. But at least there's going to be a video on whatever day tomorrow is. I'm good at words. God. Now then. I believe, yes, I had him set traps. So, what he does is he pulls out his bow and looks at it. He pulls back the string as an ice arrow appears. He looses the arrow and it lands in a tree, directly across from him. It starts to freeze around the bark. And he fires another arrow in the exact same spot. It shatters the first arrow and goes directly through the tree, shattering the ice. Now this alerted most of the creatures in the area, as he feels one of his ice traps blow off. This was a pitfall trap. The predator that was in it escaped it, but it was wounded. So what Deku does is he teleports through his ice into the pitfall trap, and he follows the blood trail. As he arrives, he sees a predator trying to heal. The predator pulls out its bow staff before it can do anything. Deku is already there. He's ice slide, and he grabs onto the Yardrat's head and says, and then he says, after putting on the mask, let's say he's wearing the mask right now, and he says, "Where am I?" And it translates into Yardrat. It replies with, and he hears it through through translations in the mask. And if you're wondering how he's translating it, it's because the mask is receiving it, and the contacts. It's very low frequency, but he can hear it. Just don't question the logic. So it replies with, "None of your damn business, human." Deku realizes that this beast is too proud, so what he does is he phrases over the spear bit by bit till it's covered his entire forearm. "Where am I? I'll never tell you." Deku then has half of the Yardrat boy's body is frozen over. "Last chance. Go to hell. And you will," he says, as his entire body is frozen over. Deku then just backslaps it. All the stuff's gone. Nothing's left. 6. Yaldrith. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Yaudrin remain. Now at this point, the clan leaders are starting to be impressed. Not only is this human capable of destroying hunters. Now, these hunters are no joke. They will kill you in an instant you give them the chance. But Deku's smart. He knows how to disguise things to where you never expect them. He knows how to take you down before you even realize it's a fight happening. And so, he then walks into a prairie, an open field, and he creates a large tower, about 7 feet off the ground, and then he makes a chair, and he sits in it. Now, he's not feeling cocky, he just wants to end this. So, what he does is he yells in Yardrat, "I accept all challenges." At that moment, 3 male Yardrat walk out. Now, Deku strips himself of his weapons, and bound by honor, the first Yardrat does as well. Yaojin does as well. It's a hand-to-hand combat duel. Deku steps up, and as the Yardrat throws the first punch, Deku immediately grabs the back of his shoulder in his wrist and breaks his arm in half. After that, he plants one of his feet on the other's foot and then uses his other to kick in his leg. He's now broken 2 joints of the bone, and the other is immobilized. After that, Deku begins pummeling the beast over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. 1 shot to the ribcage, 1 shot to the face, 2 shots to the chest. It's a complete massacre. And as this is happening, Deku reaches his hand into its neck and rips its head off and freezes it over. Throwing the skull over. Who's next? As he picks up a knife. The Yardrat then drops everything but a knife. After that, oh god. After that, they start to walk towards each other. The Yardrat goes for a slash, but immediately brings it back down, try to catch Deku off guard. Deku, instead of attempting to block this, with all his force, he swipes his knife towards the wrist of the knife coming down on his head. And just barely, it cuts his ear, but he manages to impale the wrist of the Yardrat. He yanks the knife out of the Argent's hand. As he grabs his arm, he tries to slit the Argent's throat in a single swipe, but the Argent brings its head up, not its head, its arm up, and it cuts off his forearm. Oh, he cuts off his forearm, its forearm. He then pulls the knife out of the Argent's wrist, and then he with two knives in hand, he slides and slices the Achilles tendon as he throws the other knife at while he's sliding at the back of its neck. It falls to the ground, and the knife impales through the back of its neck. He then throws the knife to the ground and stares at the final Yardra standing there. It's scared. He's the only one left standing up because he hasn't fought yet. So, what he does is he drops every weapon, including his mask, his shirt, leaving the bare minimum in case Deku is using anything for the edge. He even removes his shoes. Deku does the same, but as soon as Deku removes his hoodie and or top, all he sees is a muscular fucking giant. This thing almost towers the Yardra. Deku almost towers the Yardra. And before anything happens, the Yardra stands up and raises its hands, proud. As a warrior. Deku then says, "As a warrior, I will give you a warrior's death in combat." The Yardra nods, facing his fear, the fear of death. To face death is to be a warrior. And so, the Yardra dies. In a single snap of Deku's fingers. He's flash frozen over. Now the final three Yardra are sitting here watching this. And they're like, what the fuck just happened? In their own language, that's what they're like. I mean, like, they're like, this is the guy they brought in for us to train with. This guy is a fucking monster. We don't stand a chance. We have to stall. We have to stall and hope he dies to the environment. That's what they're thinking. All of them at once, simultaneously. It's the only thing they can come up with. So what they do is, for 2 weeks, they hide. Deku hunts them, not being able to find a trace, due to the fact that they always stay out of his zone and invisible. And they never leave a trace of where they're going. But on the night of the second week, he feels an ominous presence hunting him. He switches to thermal vision as he spots 3 black-like creatures running towards him. Now, you guessed it, these creatures are xenomorphs. But Deku doesn't know that, and he doesn't have his mask on right now. As they approach him, Deku pulls out his knife from earlier, and he throws the 2 knives at two of the xenomorphs. But the third one, it jumps and latches, tries to penetrate Deku's face with the little mouth thingy. But before I can get to it, Deku uses a stick. He picks up off the ground and slices it with a nice sword. But some acid got on his mouth, and it starts to disintegrate. Instead of dying, Deku immediately freezes it over with ice, removing the acid. Now, there are some holes in his face, and he feels like it's unsettling and it's hard to talk. So, instead, he puts on his mask, and he uses thought voice, to where he can talk through his thoughts instead of his mouth. Now, Deku, after doing this, he finds an arrow pierces his shoulder. He's like, damn, I was distracted. This arrow was shot by an archer, who then jumps down and swings its spear, because it carries more than one weapon, down on Deku's head. Deku, being irritated and fucking damaged, he grabs the spear as it's coming down, and he flash freezes it over. He yanks it out of its hand and smacks it repeatedly, and not having a chance to get back to recover, Deku then impales it through the heart. How many was that? 4 down, 2 to go. Now, in one of the final fights, they're just now realizing that Deku just killed 2 of the xenomorphs with a throwing knife, and he killed the last one with a stick. Which means he is the strongest foe there, killing 3 xenomorphs in the matter of seconds. Being damaged, but not dying. This is something no humans ever accomplished during a hunt. But, in this stead, Deku finds a target. One of the Yaojdrith, astonished by the fight, got in Deku's zone, and immediately he books it towards them. As he arrives in seconds, the Yaojdrith is surprised if he found it. And before the Yaojdrith can even move, Deku's hands on its neck. And in the Yaojdrith, Deku says, "Death." Yeah, baby. Da 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 da. Okay, so, yes. I have to check and make sure I know. I have to check what age Deku is after this. I believe I made him over 18. I think I made him 16. Okay, so he is the last. He's up against the last Yaojdrith. And so, the Yaojdrith, knowing it's either imminent death or a hard fight, it approaches Deku. Now the chieftain's looking. Now one of the chieftain in particular is looking at this fight and is very interested. It is so interested that it's almost popping out of its seat to see what's about to happen. Now, this Yaojdrith is equipped with some of the most intense gear Deku has seen so far. But what the Yaojdrith does is it removes all of its weapons and bears down itself to exactly what Deku has. And so in return, Deku throws away all the tricks, including his mask, only muttering one word: "I am Sub-Zero, and I will give you a warrior's death." The Yaojdrith replies before Deku takes off his mask: "Indeed. Winner take all." Deku sees this as the final fight, and so, being down to nearly nakedness, and in a jungle, the temperature drops 10 degrees. And through Deku's scarred face, well, cheekbones at least, and not his whole face is scarred, just his cheeks, to where the mask covers it, through that, Deku breathes as a cold shiver of ice comes out. He then, like Baraka would, exerts 2 blades of ice out of his arms, and the Algeth uses its fingernails as knives. So probably gotta pop that up in case someone's about to come. Okay, I'll pause it. The Algeth, yes, it uses its fingernails as knives, fighting Deku. But every hit on Deku's ice loosened, it's not loosened, more like, as soon as it hit Deku's ice, and not Deku's ice blades, it's his chest, there was a thin layer of ice there protecting him, and as the Algeth tried to pull away, its fingernails were ripped off. It screamed out in pain. As Deku retracted it, threw away his blades, and began to, and did the same move it did with the other Algeth. It snapped his arm. And then, not being a dirty fight, I was gonna say it kicked him in the balls, but that's just rude. And then, he did a 1-2 to his chest, jumped up, and Superman punched him to the ground. And then over and over and over again. Until finally, Deku was done. He plunged his hand into the Algeth's chest and pulled out its heart. Then the Algeth said in Yaldrin, "You win. It is yours." Now Deku's been getting common with the language because of the translator, and he couldn't make out that last word. But blank is yours. And then it's when it dies. The hunt is commissioned over, and out of nowhere, Deku is retracted upwards. Now, he's pulled up and he can't move. He is restrained immediately. He can't even activate his quirk. That's when the Elder walks up. And he pulls out Deku's mask out of his bag, places it on his face. "You can understand me now, correct?" Deku nods. "Good. You have defeated all eight hunters. 2 of them passed, but you are the greatest foe we have seen in a long time. Very similar to him." Flashback scene, and back. I'm not going to show you the flashback, because no. "You are a strong one, and we have a request." Deku says, how about a trade?" The Elder raises an eyebrow. Deku then replies with, "I'll do whatever you ask, under the condition that you return my friends to Earth." The Elder then replies with, "Oh yes, they are still alive, aren't they?" "Agreed." Deku then says, "Okay then, so what is it you want from me?" 2 years as a hunter. And as he moves his hand over, he reveals a predator. Her. Deku now understands this word, but he finds it similar to the word, the dying word that the Yao just said. Wait a minute. The clan leader, the one that was edging off her seat, appears. "Hello there." Trying to be formal. "I am Samantha." Now, if you're wondering why the Eldritch has that name, it's because the way it works with the Eldritch, well, this is what I'm putting in my story. Whatever the first human kill it is, or whatever kill it takes, it gains its name, its first kill. Samantha was a human. Yes. Deku replies with, I'm Sub-Zero. Interesting name. Well, you murdered my betrothed, which means you take his place. Deku looks a little shocked and says, Betrothed? Sir, do you mind explaining? Deku's trying to be formal with the elder of the clan. So, then the elder explains, you defeated her betrothed in battle, which means you take his place. That's the way things have always worked. And you are now a hunter, which means you must follow these rules. Deku looks at her and she's, oh yeah, you guys don't have a picture of her yet. I'm gonna pull it up for you. Here is Deku's technically betrothed Yaudrith. She is a clan leader and a member of the clan council. More on that later. But yes, this is her. So Deku replies with, fine, if it frees them, I'll do it. I am of the Shirai Ryu clan. Oh, damn it. He then extends his hand. I am Sub-Zero of the Lin Kuei, my clan. As he shows his badge, it's been on the back of his hoodie the entire time. She extends her hand. I'm Samantha. Of the let's say that I am Samantha of the Spearman clan. Let's say their clan specializes in spears and using spears in combat. We'll have to decide on last names later. Let's get your friends home. So, Deku returns to the cave as he unfreezes it. Todoroki's ready to blast blast a beam of fire. As Deku walks in and says, Todoroki, it's been what, 5 weeks? He runs up to Deku and hugs him and says, you did it. You won. Well, what, was I gonna let you down? I got good news too. I got us a way home. You did? Damn, you're good. Yeah. Not much you can do, little bro. Kushoto looks at him like, little bro. You know what? You saved my life. Doesn't matter. Call me whatever you want. Mortimer looks at him and says, how? We were massacred by them. You were this strong? You're like him. As a vision of All Might appears in Mortimer's head. A hero that saves everybody. Deku then looks at Mortimer and says to everybody, I am Sub-Zero of the Shirai Ryu. Buck of the Lin Kuei. I have that stuck in my head. Sorry. I am Sub-Zero of the Lin Kuei. Report that when we get back to Earth. Tell everyone about this. But do not mention a word about the hunters. We were abducted and taken to a facility. We cannot let this get out. It's too dangerous. Deku and Todoroki, they all agree. Because no one's gonna fuck with Deku at this point. He just killed 8 of those things. And so, Deku is then takes them to a ship that the Yaudrith set up for him. They all get on, and they're driven, flied. They're all taken to Earth. And as they're getting in drop pods, Todoroki says, see you on the other side. Big bro? Yeah, see ya. Todoroki gets in his pod as he drops. Deku looks back and says, "So where's my first hunting ground?" As Samantha, no, as his, fuck, I need a better name. Comment names, put names in the comments. What do you want Deku's female predator's wife, female predator to be named to be? Because Samantha's not gonna work. As Deku looks back and sees his predator wife, or soon to be, at least betrothed, and she says, "Our first hunt is on a desolate planet. It seems a new type of wildlife has inhabited it. It's taking it over. The planet is owned by us, so it's our responsibility to take it down." Okay then. When are we leaving? As soon as the last pod drops. Last pod? What do you mean? I mean, we're leaving after the last pod drops. Deku looks back to see that Todoroki hasn't dropped yet. Big. He sees Todoroki's lips move and then the pod drops. Damn it. He wasn't supposed to know. As Todoroki lands, his entire pod bursts into flames as he walks out. He did this for, and all he's thinking is, that bastard. He did this for us, didn't he? Everybody then pops out of their tubes saying, "Woohoo, we're back, we're back." They all look around and can't find Deku. And all they see is Todoroki pissed. They're like, "Todoroki, what's wrong?" That asshole fucking took one. That asshole's still up there. He never came down. What? What do you mean he's still up there? One of the predators was on board. One of the hunters. What? He'll be fine, right? No, he can't fight up there. He can't fight in a spaceship. He can't use his full power. Meanwhile, Deku is just sitting there. And he's being taken to a desolate planet that looks similar to Earth in wildlife. But before that happens, he's on the ride. There, with one person on the ship. So, as they're flying to the planet, she sets it on autopilot as she walks back to Deku. She takes off her mask and lets him see her face. She then replies with, "Do you prefer this form or a different one?" He then says, whatever you feels most comfortable." She then replies with, "Well, I suppose a human like you wouldn't find this form too appealing," as she puts the mask on and says cryogenics. There's then a freezing sound as she removes the mask. A bunch of skin falls off, similar to a snake's shed skin, as Deku sees a humanoid girl with scales on certain places, but very humanoid. She then replies with, "Is this form better for you?" He then replies, "Yes, it makes it easier. Not only that, but you look very nice." She replies with, "Good. This will make it easier for us," as she kisses him. After removing his mask and kissing him, she doesn't bother about the holes in his face, and he's shocked. He's fucking freaking out. But he says, "Fuck it. We're gonna get married anyway." So, instead of doing anything, he fucking takes off his hoodie. She unlocks the kiss and then says, "Good choice." As he picks her up and says, point me to the nearest room." She then nudges her head over to a door. That should be fine. He walks in and sees pretty much, yeah, pretty much a room. As he says, "This'll do. Top or bottom?" She says, I keep going back, but he says, she said. No, I know it's being really annoying. Well, aren't you a gentleman letting the lady pick? Well, I know Yardrith aren't the kind type to submit, so I'd say she says, "I guess I'll take the top today." So she pushes him down on the bed, and the pants are already gone. And yeah, pretty much, she's the dominant one that night. Deku's first time over and done with. And now let's say that Deku purposely sterilized the sperm cell, so it's where that she wouldn't get pregnant right away, because he's not trying to have a kid at 16. And so, Deku then says, "So how long till we're at the planet?" She replies with, "A month." It's not a very close planet. In fact, it's not. It's about 4 galaxies away. Deku looks back and says, "Okay then. So, how often?" She looks back and says, "What do you mean?" "So how often? Once a night? Twice a day?" Her eyes then widen and says, "Oh, damn, I got lucky." And then she pushes him back down on the bed and says, "I don't mind going for 3 times, if your stamina can hold up." He looks at her, smiles a bit with his broken face, and says, "My stamina? You should be worried about yours." As he flips her over and pushes her down, there's a small smirk on her face, and they go at it for about 12 hours. 27 rounds. Deku wins in the end. Month goes by fast. As he arrives at the desolate planet. And so we're going to end it off here today. Now, before we leave, I am going to talk a bit about YouTube stuff. Like, isn't this picture fucking dope, though? I found this online. Pinterest is bomb. Shout out to that guy. Yes, pics and memes. I am gonna put up a meme on screen real quick. Be right back. Look at this meme. I found this hilarious. I mean, someone sent me this in the middle of class, and I was laughing my ace off. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah. And I just want to say, this is probably not gonna be a normal thing, but the subscriber of this video, shout out to you, my guy, is Dragon Sparkies. I saw you recently subscribed. I just want to thank you for that. You popped up in my thing, and I figured, why not? And so, I want to give y'all cursed videos, but I'm not gonna, because I don't want to be that one guy that gets demonetized because your parents saw you watching this shit. But, you haven't seen it already, go check out Stephen Lynch's Go Gerbil Go. Watch it with headphones, or else you're and no parents in the room, because otherwise, you didn't hear this from me either. It's hilarious, by the way. Well, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sell out. Yeah, I gotta sell out. Yeah, but, no idea what I'm gonna do any other what if, but I am liking this one so far. Most likely, the next one I do is either gonna be this one or the Nagisa what if, because I think I might get back into that. I have been watching a good bit of Mob Psycho recently. That's been pretty cool. Also, in the comments, guys, do me a favor and tell me if you guys would want to see a what if I was reincarnated into what anime. Now, honestly, really want y'all to do this because just pick an anime and whatever I see, the most things on it will get picked. And I really hope, not gonna lie, I really hope y'all pick that time I got reincarnated as the slime. No lie, I really hope y'all pick that. But pick whatever you want. Overlord, any isekai. Isekai. Honestly, choose your heart's content. Otherwise, thanks for y'all demons being here. Peace out, Legion. Nah, Legion's going overboard. I'm just gonna call y'all demons. Peace out, demons. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's hope this video has audio. Let's hope so, guys. Anyway, thank you, Dragon Sparky, for the sub, and goodbye.